Welcome to the Blueprint 201 Intermediate Training Session. In this session, we will go over the NOAA integration, audiology reports, email and faxing, recalls and returns. Let's go ahead and start with the NOAA integration. Within Blueprint, you can create a new patient and export them to NOAA. When you're done filling in the demographic information, click Create Patient. This will prompt you for the referral type and source. Fill in the referral type and source and click Continue. At this point, you will be prompted to export this patient to NOAA. You can go ahead and click Yes. Then you will receive confirmation that the patient was exported and click OK. When the Blueprint technicians perform the NOAA and Blueprint integration, they will install a BP link which will run on your NOAA server computer. You can now locate this new patient in NOAA and perform your test. You will see that the patient's name, date of birth, gender, and address has transferred over. Highlight the patient name and perform your audiogram. You can fill out your speech scores as well. The impedance information will only transfer to Blueprint if you are using a NOAA-compatible tympanometer. When you are done filling out your patient's testing information, you can click Save. The results will take about 15 seconds to transfer to Blueprint. Within Blueprint, if you go to the patient's audiology tab, click Refresh at the bottom of the screen, and you will see the assessment information. The date of the assessment will appear under the History tab, and the triangle indicates an incomplete data set. To complete the data, click Edit at the bottom of the screen. You can now select your provider, your test method, and you can adjust your hearing severity type and shape if needed. The severity will default based on an average of 500, 1000, and 2000 Hz, very similar to how it's done in NOAA. Next, you can add the ICD codes. Use the Add ICD Code button to choose any codes that you would like to populate on the HCFA form. Once done, click Save, and the history will be updated and a blue checkmark will appear. You can specify what the patient is being seen for by using the Patient Type box at the bottom of the screen. This list is customizable. Hold Control on your keyboard to select multiple items and click OK. This is important even if you are not integrated with NOAA. For example, if a manufacturer comes up with something new for patients with tinnitus, having this information on file, you can go into the Marketing tab and contact all patients who have tinnitus. If needed, you can always export a patient at a later time. To export a patient manually to NOAA, go to the patient browser, select the patient. Now you can go to the NOAA drop-down menu at the top of the screen and select Export Patient to NOAA. Click OK on the confirmation, and you can see that this patient has made it to the NOAA system. Let's go back. Now that my dataset is complete, I can generate a number of different reports. Let's take a look at the Physician's Hearing Assessment Report. If I right-click on the date or click on the Reports button at the bottom of the screen, a number of reports will generate. The audiogram and speech information transfers to this report along with the TIMP graph if generated with a NOAA-compatible tympanometer. This document is editable, so you can make changes as needed. We also have this awesome feature called Text Snippets. With text snippets, you can create a personalized text library of text, segments, and sentences. These text snippets can be used for fast completion of journal entries and medical reports. Users can simply double-click or drag and drop to insert a snippet. You can also use the Auto Text shortcut, which will be automatically replaced with the full text snippet. Your text snippets can be organized in categories. To create a category, click on the Setup menu on the left toolbar. Click on the text snippet category and click Create New at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead and give the category a name. To create new text snippet strings, click on the category you want the text string to be under. Click Create New. In the Create Text Snippet dialog box, type in the text string and the auto text that will be used to pull up the string. Optionally, click the lock icon to make the text snippet private. A private text snippet can only be viewed and used by the user that created the snippet. If I go back to my report, I can add my final touches. Let's pull in some text snippets. At the very bottom, you also have the option for your signature to automatically populate. You can do this by signing a blank piece of paper with a dark pen, scan it, and send it to us in a support ticket with your signature attached. The technicians will then upload this to your system. Now that my report is done, I can email or fax this to the family physician, insurer, or patient. Simply click on the Email Fax button at the bottom of the screen. Choose if you're going to email or fax this document. You also have the ability to manually type in a new fax or email. I'm going to fax this document. This will automatically archive the document to the Patient's Documents tab. Go ahead and choose a title, a category, and a status. This next prompt will be to choose my fax cover sheet and send the fax to my physician. Now that I have faxed this document, I want to check the transmission of it. By going to the Communications drop-down menu and choosing Fax Outbox, I can see if the transmission was successful or not. A yellow triangle next to the file means it had an error. The fax icon means it's currently in transmission, and if there's nothing here, it means it was successful. If you highlight the fax and right-click, you have a number of options. You can view it again, print it, archive it, download a copy to the local computer, or delete it. If you select Archive, it will now be saved under the Fax Archive tab. From the Communications drop-down menu, you also have a Scan Fax option. This will allow you to scan and fax without first saving it to a Patient's Documents tab. If I go back to the Patient's Documents tab, I will see the document that I just sent. If I highlight and right-click, I have a number of options. To update existing physician information, you can go to Setup, Referral Sources, Family Physician, click on the desired physician, and then click Edit Details. From here, you can update the email address and their fax number. Fax numbers for insurers can be found under the Setup menu. Select Insurers, select the desired insurance company, and click Edit Details. You will see that there is a place for a fax number here. Now let's go ahead and talk about inventory. Everything related to inventory will be held under the Inventory drop-down menu. Let's check out the Inventory module. You have the ability to track stock hearing aids and loan them to patients or simply sell them out of stock. The top option, Manage Inventory, is basically your home screen, and you can see your entire existing inventory here. You can narrow your search by location using the location buttons on the left-hand side. The Quick Find box allows you to search by serial number or status. You can see that some of the hearing aids are loaned out and some of them are currently in stock. With ordering new stock, you will be able to use the same order and receive process. First, we'll place the stock order, then we'll receive the aids into stock, and then we'll deliver them to the patients in the form of loaning or selling. Let's go to our Stock Order tab and select the location you are going to be ordering for. You can right-click in the gray area and select Order Stock, or you can go to your Inventory drop-down menu and select Order Stock. They serve the same function. Then make sure your order date, location, and bill to are all correct. We will then select the manufacturer. All of the aids in that manufacturer's catalog will appear. You can use your keyboard to type the first couple letters of the model name to find the hearing aid you're looking for. From here, you can change the quantity that you want to order and the battery size. The cost of the aid will default to whatever you have in your setup menu. You can also put in color and notes. If there are additional models, you would just double-click in the model field and you can add as many models as you would like. The notes would go on the order form if you want to generate an order form for a manufacturer. Click Save and you will be prompted to generate the order form. This will have your clinic's bill to and ship to information. Your manufacturer address information are already loaded into the system. You can use this form to send to the manufacturer, and to our knowledge, no manufacturer has denied this order form. The next step would be to receive the aids into the office. What you can do is click on the order and right-click. You have these options available. You can remove it completely, close the order to open it at another time, receive stock with bill, or receive stock in. If your system is integrated with QuickBooks, you can click Receive Aids with Bill, and this will allow you to change the cost if need be. This will send a bill to your vendor center in QuickBooks, so you know what to pay that vendor. Let's go ahead and receive these aids in. You can see the quantity you ordered, and you can click in the Quantity Receiving field and mark how many you are receiving. You can also do a partial receipt if you have not received them all in. If you get the invoice from the manufacturer, you can fill that into the invoice number field. Now just fill in the information, such as the serial number and battery. You can track the return date. Expense items can be used if you use QuickBooks. Let's say they charge you for shipping and handling. You can add that to the miscellaneous account or any other account that you have set up. You will want to make sure that both bill totals match. Now we will see that the order has been removed from the Stock Orders tab and it's been moved into my inventory. All of those hearing aids will have the status of in stock. Now we can go ahead and loan them or sell them to patients. I'm going to go to my patient browser and find a patient. Next, I'll go to their hearing aids tab and loan them a new aid. Go to the Add Aid option and select Loan from Stock. You will be brought to a list of stock aids based on location. Now I can select my aid and drag and drop it to either the right or the left side. Click Add at the bottom of the screen and you will be prompted for a recall date. These will either auto-populate or you can input a manual date. This will be the date you want to call the patient back to return the loaner aid or complete the sale. This will be the date that you want to call the patient back to return the hearing aid or to complete the sale. Go ahead and click OK. In the Patient's Hearing Aid tab, the hearing aid will appear with an on loan status, and under the Inventory tab, you will see that the aid appears on loan as well. If you highlight this hearing aid, you will see the full history of the aid. With an aid on loan, you have a couple of options. If you right-click on the hearing aid, you can generate a loaner agreement, you can complete the sale, or you can return this back to stock. If you choose loaner agreement, it will generate the Blueprint loaner agreement, and it will have your clinic logo and address, and also fill in the patient information. You can print this off and have a patient sign it and scan it back into the Documents tab. If you want to do an electronic signature, you can buy our signature pads on our website. If you right-click to complete the sale, the hearing aid will take you through the normal invoicing process, and it will create an invoice for the hearing aid. This will also remove it from stock. If you return the hearing aid to stock, if the patient decides they don't want to keep it, it will move off of the patient's file and return back to inventory. In the Inventory tab, you will still be able to see record of the loan and that it was returned. Another option you have is if you skip the loaning process and sell it directly from stock. You don't have to do the order receive deliver process on a patient's file because you already did the order receive process in inventory. To do a quick sale of stock, go to the quick sale button on the left-hand side of the screen. At the bottom of the screen, click on Select Stock Aids. Again, choose a location and a prescriber. Highlight the hearing aid and drag and drop it to either the left or the right side. Then click Save. Now you can choose the warranty expiration and loss and damage warranty date. Click OK. If you want to add on any services, batteries, or accessories, you can do so at this point. Click Next, and from here you can adjust your pricing, quantity, and discounts. It will also create an invoice and will show you all of the items, discount, and pricing. We can either take payment from here, or as always, if we go to the sales history, we can take a payment from there. In the Patient's Hearing Aid tab, the hearing aid will show under Active Status. Under the Inventory module, the hearing aid will disappear. That's everything that we have for inventory. Next, we're going to take a look at recalls. To view the list of recalls, you can click on the Recalls button on the main toolbar. The recall screen will show a list of patients due for recalls along with the patient telephone number, recall type, and location. The calendar icon in the Next Appointment column denotes patients with upcoming appointments booked on the schedule. To filter the list of recalls, do one or more of the following. Click on a column name, recall date, patient, or recall type, to sort the list of patients in ascending order. Click the column name again to sort the list of patients in descending order. Use the Quick Find field at the top of the screen and type in the first few letters of the patient's last name. You can also click on the recall period, recall type, and/or the location drop-down menu to filter your list of patients. If you check the Hide Booked Patients checkbox at the bottom of the screen, it will hide patients with upcoming appointments. Recalls are good for a client that comes in and you want to see them 90 days after you fit them with a hearing aid, or something to that extent. You have some automatic recalls that are already generated for you. Automatic recalls that are generated within the US system include 30-day post-fitting, which populates 30 days after a client has delivered a hearing aid 4 years old, populating 4 years after the purchase date of a hearing aid, hearing aid warranty expiry, populating for aids that will expire within the next 30 days, loaned aid due, populating for an aid with an on-loan status, not seen in the past year, populating for patients who have not had an appointment scheduled in over a year. Some automatic recalls generated within the Canadian system: VAC 2-year hearing assessment, populating 2 years after a hearing aid invoice has been billed to VAC. WSIB Service Block 2, populating 90 days after a hearing aid invoice has been billed to WSIB. This is for hearing aids delivered on or after August 15th of 2016. WSIB Service Block 1, Old, populating 30 days after a hearing aid invoice has been billed to WSIB, and this is for hearing aids delivered before August 15th of 2016. WSIB Service Block 2, Old, populating 60 days after a hearing aid invoice has been billed to WSIB, and this is for hearing aids delivered before August 15th of 2016. If you would like to turn these automatic recalls off, please submit a support ticket, and our technical team will do this for you. Our technicians can also create your own custom automatic recalls. Again, you can just send us a support ticket from the drop-down menu and specify how you would like for them to populate. Under Setup, Recall Types, you can add your own recall types. To add a recall to a patient, click Add Recall. You can then type in the first few letters of their last name, select the client, and click OK. Next, select the time you want to recall the patient, choose the recall type, and if you need to, you can assign this to a staff member. The required checkbox is optional for all recalls. If you check this box, it will turn red and appear in the Requires Action badge, which is the red oval with the number next to the recall, if it's due within 7 days or currently overdue, and the patient does not have an appointment scheduled within the next 30 days. Additionally, you can type a note about the recall or a note to the staff member about this recall. Click Create. The new recall will be added to the list. Anytime you want to complete these recalls, right-click on the recall line item and click Complete Cancel. Within the Edit Recall dialog box, select an outcome for the completion cancellation. Optionally, you can type a note and click OK. Once you complete the recall, it will disappear from the list. The My Recall section functions the same way as the Recall section. The only difference is that the My Recall section will only display recalls that are assigned to you. This is intended to be used as a to-do list for your employees. Let's take a look at how to process a return in Blueprint OMS. Go to the Patient's Hearing Aid tab. In order to process a successful return, please make sure that you are always returning hearing aids after they are in active status. If you return a hearing aid before they are active, it might not process correctly. This is because the invoice was not created yet, so the system is not sure of the dollar amount to return. Highlight the hearing aid you wish to return and right-click. You can choose Return to Stock or Return to Manufacturer. This will pull up all the items on the invoice. If you're not returning all of the items, you can click the X next to each item to remove them. Select a return reason for the hearing aid and/or ear molds. Note that a return charge will automatically generate. If you do not wish to charge the patient for the return, you can double-click on the dollar amount and type 0. Make sure to click Enter on your keyboard to save this change. Double-check the amount crediting the patient and click Return Items. If the patient paid anything on this sale, it will prompt you if you want to issue a refund. Click Yes if you want to issue a refund, or No if you intend to use this money for another sale. If you click No, this will remain as a credit on the patient's account. If you choose Yes to issue a refund, you can choose the date, amount, and how to refund the client. Click Save. Credit reports will form. The last one to populate is for the vendor. You can print this form out and send it with the hearing aids and items you are returning. The other form is for the client. The hearing aids will disappear from the Hearing Aids tab, and you will see a return appear in the patient sales history. If you make a mistake or need to undo this return, you can highlight the return in the sales history, right-click, and choose Delete Return. This will remove the return from the sales history, and the hearing aids will go back to active status under the Patient's Hearing Aid tab. Note that if you issued a refund, you will need to delete the refund first, then delete the return. We hope you found this Blueprint OMS tutorial helpful. If you have any questions, please give us a call.